I've been asking that question for a long time.
Oh, daddy dear. You know you're still number one. But girls just want to have fun. Oh,
Yeah.
girls just want to have
fun.
That's all they really want.
Exactly. Hello and welcome to episode 845 of the Player One Podcast for Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. I'm your host, Chris Johnston, and with me, as always, from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward.
Hello.
Oh my God, you are blowing out your audio.
Oh, Jesus, I didn't do anything.
No.
I didn't do anything.
What is happening? Your levels are all over the place.
It's set to auto adjust mic.
There's trouble in Canada.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
Is it fixing
Pal.
itself at all?
Friend. Yeah, it fixed itself.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, let's do yellow.
Much
beautiful.
better. See?
Beautiful.
I like it.
I'm
How
good.
you doing there?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah?
Just got back from the hockey rink and boy are my arms tired.
Were you playing?
Nope.
Oh.
When was the last time you played hockey, Greg?
Oh my God. Pond hockey when I was probably 16.
Okay.
You know, a good decade or more ago.
Does that mean that was the last time that you were out on the rink? Or the last
No,
time you
that wasn't the
played
last time I
hockey?
went skating, but that was the last time I played hockey. I never played organized hockey.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Does the government know this?
No, there's no law as long as you play some form.
Would you have
You
like
dodged the
phone spurs or
drought,
something to
sir.
get you out of that?
No, it was harder to get out of than jury duty. I'll tell you that.
Oh.
Which I've
Have you
also
been
gotten out of.
when was the last time you were skating? You've been skating
About 15 years ago.
15 years? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I see. All right. Well, joining me as always from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Rockabye, baby. How's
How
it
you
going?
doing?
I'm Phil Theobald, your singing podcast co-host.
I don't know. Can we call what you do singing?
Oh, absolutely.
Crooning.
Yeah, it's more of a
Crooning.
croon. Real excited
Yes.
to be here today.
How excited are you, Phil?
Not that much?
Okay.
This is radio. That's
Oh.
not. Yeah.
It's radio.
Yeah. But a
20
60-degree angle.
Oh,
Wow.
there you go. All right.
So what's up?
Nothing. What's up with y'all?
Not much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm enjoying here in my beverage cup today?
What's that?
Normally, if I'm not drinking some sort of novelty soda beverage on this show, I usually just have a cup of water. But my water cup
Sounds
today is filled with it's tangy and brown. So I'm in Cider Town, baby.
Cider Town?
Is it
Apple
warm?
I got some apple cider.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
warm apple cider?
It is not warm. Oh my gosh.
That's what I think of that.
Greg's offended. But
I am
you know what this apple cider is?
What?
wet.
This is apple cider made from Cosmic Crisp apples.
Don't know.
Remember
I don't think I've ever had a Cosmic Crisp.
we've talked about Cosmic Crisp apples on the show before, I
We
believe.
I
have.
usually tune out when you guys talk about stuff like that.
These are there's your first problem.
All right, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a problem.
No. Well, if we're talking about delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, that is definitely your problem because they are a tasty, relatively new breed of apple. And now that you can get it in cider form,
Cider form. Huh.
and it's delicious.
Is that like a local cider or is it a where do you go to get such a thing? The grocery store or the cider mill?
I did not. You know what? I do know where there is a cider mill relatively close to here.
There's
you head
cider
north
mill
of-
relatively close to where I am as well.
Yeah, I mean-
we've gotten cider from there.
I
Is it
mean,
in between the two of you?
I don't know if you've heard,
No.
but Washington apples is like a thing.
Oh, I did not know.
Yes. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
oranges in Florida or
Cheese
Georgia.
in Wisconsin.
Huh?
Floranges.
Cheese in
Yes.
Wisconsin.
That's where they grow all the cheese is in
That's
Wisconsin.
where they grow the cheese. Pick it fresh off the tree.
They grow all the peaches down in Georgia, and you get Washington apples.
Yeah,
But no, this is just from the Safeway,
I see. Okay.
which is a grocery store chain.
Phil avoids buying local if possible.
Yeah.
Oh, amen to that.
Chains forever.
No, I don't. I'm assuming these are probably made in Washington. I don't know,
Oh.
but
What
it's
brand?
delicious.
What brand is it?
I-
Safeway brand?
It probably is.
You
I
don't
don't- I
buy
just
based
thought-
on brand. You just see Cosmic Crisp cider and you
Cosmic
buy
Crisp
it.
cider. Yes, I'm in. I don't care who
Yeah.
makes it.
Yeah.
I think
there
there's
you
just
go.
a guy outside the store with a juicer and a big bushel of apples. Y'all want some of my juice? Was it juice or cider, sir? Oh, it is an apple. I'll call it
If I
cider,
spin
sir.
in it, it's cider.
Yeah,
It's all cloudy.
just
You
got
guys
a
are
lot
so
of
gross.
apple pulp in it.
Don't let it turn into vinegar.
Fill up the trunk, sir.
Just pour it right into the trunk.
Just pour it in.
It's
Let it
cheaper than
slosh around on the way
It's
home.
messy.
Just put it in the gas tank.
You just pop the trunk.
Ugh.
You dip your cup in there. Scoop out a tasty treat. What do you have there, CJ? What are you drinking today?
This is some kind of margarita hard seltzer.
Yeah, I
No.
knew we talked about this before the show. I just wanted you to admit to everyone that you're getting drunk during our podcast.
That's it. CJ's finally over it. He's just like,
Yeah.
I can't do it.
It
if
doesn't
I
take
can't
much.
do it
A
if I'm
hard
not
seltzer
3 sheets to the wind.
definitely will get me drunk. Yeah. I blame my
Make
wife.
sure everybody has a Zima.
Azima.
I used to really
I've
like
heard that name in a
Zima.
long time. Yeah, I'm
I
not
used to like
surprised.
Zima.
Zima
You know what
feels
you do
like
with
a CJ
Zima?
drink.
You know what you do with Zima?
Drink it.
Well, that's
You
the
put a
easy
Jolly
answer.
Rancher hard candy in the
Oh, I've
Zima
heard of
bottle,
that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
and you let it dissolve in the Zima. You let it age a couple hours, and then it tastes like a Jolly Rancher.
Age a couple of hours.
You know,
What is there like a cute name for that?
no,
Not like a Jolly Zima?
no, there probably should have been.
Yeah,
Z
really.
Rancher.
Yeah, we call ourselves the Zima Rangers. Yes.
You all get like a
good
different
times.
color one.
You need like one of those light up ice cubes to go in. Just
I
Oh,
was the
yeah,
Green
yeah.
Ranger.
make sure that
candy
it's,
apple.
Yeah.
You're the green
Yeah,
apple
totally.
Jolly Rancher.
I was the Green Apple
Okay.
Zima Ranger.
Okay.
Well, we're off to
Well, this has been quite
a rip
an intro.
roaring start.
A rollicking start. should we just hop right into the news?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Well, last week at this time, The Last of Us was premiering on HBO. Home box
And here we
office.
were,
You may
like
have-
a bunch of suckers.
You may have heard of it. Yes, and so we were podcasting during it. It turned out the first episode was HBO's second biggest premiere in over a decade.
Is this that
Four-
Velma cartoon?
4.7 million viewers across cable
Uh-huh.
and HBO Max watching the first episode of The Last of Us. So a lot of people watched it. Apparently, it boosted sales of the game as well. Go figure.
It's almost like they put the remake out in time for the show. For
I
exactly that
know,
reason.
right? I know, right? So I wanted to ask you guys: did you watch The Last of Us?
I did.
I already played that game. I know how it goes.
Yeah, you don't have to watch the
Yeah.
show. You've seen it.
No, I
Yeah.
absolutely watched it.
Yeah. Me too.
I have to say, Pedro Pascal, I don't think they could have cast that role any better. I mean, the guy is
Yeah.
Joel. Like, you look at him and he is Joel, especially when you get into like
Yeah.
the 20 years later section.
Yeah.
It's just
I thought
very-
everybody was
good.
really good.
Yeah, me too. His daughter, in the first part of the show, it was really reminded me a lot of my little cousin, who's around. Well, she's a little older than her now, but she looks exactly like her.
Oh,
But,
really?
yeah, but I'll tell you, that scene doesn't matter if I know what's coming. I've seen it a lot of times in the video game version. Still,
Yeah.
Sure.
still hurts, man.
You know, it was
It
terrible.
does.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm watching the show and I'm watching that whole kind of first segment, the kind of, you know, as stuff is kind of slowly happening, and
Yeah.
it's certainly this is a side effect of having played through this game a couple times, where I was just like, when are they getting to the part? When are they? Why is she going over to the neighbor's house? Just get to the part, you know?
They definitely sold you dummy a couple of times in the first part of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought that bit though with her going over to the neighbor's house was great to just build some more
oh,
tension
absolutely.
into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was poorly done or that the extra stuff was not necessary, but I was just
Yeah.
again, because I am, you know, they are sticking very close to the story, it seems, you know, adding
Yeah.
bits here and there, of course, to flesh out the world and some of the side characters.
Yeah.
But you know, a couple times I was just like, well, when are they? They're taking their time getting to the next story beat. But
I mean, it was an hour and a half long,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
But by the kind of the second half of the episode, I sort of settled into the
yeah.
pace of the show storytelling. So
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it makes a lot of sense because when you think about it, with his daughter in the game, you play as her
yes,
for a while,
Yeah.
so you kind of make that connection with her, which is like we've talked about many times on the show before. Like, that's, I think, the key thing about that is that she's not just an NPC; she's your player character,
right.
from the start of the game. So you do have a bit of an emotional attachment to her. And then of course the writing and the interactivity between her and Joel is fantastic in the game. So you know, it's sort of an emotional hit when you know what happens. I don't know why I'm skating around.
I
what
know,
it is.
right?
It's not like this is so when she dies.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but then I think with the television show,
Yeah.
where that's a passive medium,
Mhm.
it makes more sense to spend some more time
Oh yeah,
not
yeah.
only, you know, sort of watching meeting her character, but also the neighbors. I thought it was great that they fleshed out the neighbors, because in the game, of course, you only ever hear their names, and
Right.
then Joel shoots one because he goes crazy, and
Right.
you know, the whole emotional thing there is like, oh my god, you just killed somebody. But like, again, in the TV show, I thought it was great that they humanized them, and it really had way more impact that way.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree.
I
Good.
also like the little bit where when they're fleeing the house and they and the one neighbor comes out and Joel, you know, yells at them to go back inside and lock your
And they
doors and
don't.
everything.
Yeah.
And they don't.
No, well then, because then Joel
Idiots.
runs over someone, and the neighbor's like, "Joel, what are you doing?" And he runs out to help, and
to
then
be
probably
fair,
gets
Joel
killed.
didn't run over him. Joel's
Huh?
brother ran over him.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Yeah. Tommy.
That is true.
Tommy, right?
Yeah.
Tommy also really well cast. I thought everybody was very well cast.
Oh yeah,
in
no, the
this.
cast
that
was
was
great.
And
Yeah.
I did not know until watching the show, Marlene, same actress as the game.
Yep. There's a
Oh, is that
couple.
right?
There's a couple
Yeah.
of characters that are the
Oh.
same actors as from the game.
I did
Yeah.
not realize that.
Very, very interesting. Although I did see in the IMDb listing that both Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson are in the episode somewhere, but I
Yep.
did not see where they were.
Oh, I don't know if they're in that episode. They're in the series.
Yeah,
Oh, they're in the
They
series
weren't
somewhere.
in the
okay.
episode, as far as I know.
yeah. I
But
don't
yes,
think
they
I don't
both
think
have
they were in that
small roles.
pilot episode, but
Okay, well, I'm very excited to see them somewhere in the
Right.
series.
I already
That'll be
heard.
fun.
I already heard what character Ashley is playing. I'm not going to say it because some people might not want to know. But
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw something about. I think Phil, you tweeted something about the graffiti on the buildings in The
yes,
Last of Us, which is a holdover from the game,
right,
having this in the live action show.
yes.
You didn't like that?
Well, it's. I've never liked that. I mean, you see that sort of thing show up in video games all the time.
Yeah,
Just the laziest of lazy storytelling.
including the Callisto Protocol.
Exactly.
All over in the Callisto Protocol.
Yes. Where some terrible thing happens, which of course prompts people to start spray painting either really precise directions on walls or some sort of vague theme of the world.
well, I mean,
real monsters.
well, I mean, though they've got 20 years of a conflict to get you up to speed on without someone just standing there telling you what it is.
Oh, I know.
So I mean,
But
it makes I do like that when the guy from the Fireflies approaches Joel when they're making a deal there, he turns and says, if you tell me to look for the light, I'll break your jaw or something like that. It's like,
Right.
Yeah.
okay, so we know where Joel stands here anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I
yes,
like that.
the thematic graffiti has always bugged me in video
I thought it
games.
was a little on the nose when he saw the graffiti telling him to go to the castle.
I get that reference.
But I really,
I was
really
in high school. I was a nerd in high school. I understand that reference.
I don't understand that reference. What was that?
Oh my
reference?
god,
Oh boy.
CJ,
What?
it's a
You know
Holy
the
Grail.
Monty Pythons?
Monty Python
Oh,
Holy Grail.
Yeah.
It's a whole joke where there's a graffiti on the wall telling them where to go, but whoever wrote it died while he was writing it, so he wrote
I see.
they
Okay.
have to go to the castle.
Excellent.
Now that we've explained the joke.
Thank you. Thank you for
Phil, I
that.
appreciate you.
Thank you, Greg. And I've always appreciated you.
Well, I appreciate you guys too. I thought Anna Torv was great as Tess.
Yep.
Too.
Uh-huh.
It kind of sucks knowing that what happens to Tess is probably going to happen here too.
She lives happily ever after.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll mix it up.
Maybe they'll mix it up. Maybe there'll be something different that
knows?
happens.
Maybe Ashley Johnson shows up playing old Ellie from the future,
Oh, whoa.
who gets a hold of
Maybe
a
there'll
time
be another
machine.
time skip.
Yeah.
20 years after that.
I've come back with a dire warning. The Skelecere
It's your
is
kids.
tall.
It's your kids.
Oh, anyway. Good show, though. I'm looking forward to seeing how
Well, the new one's tonight, right?
season. The new
Yeah.
one is tonight.
Let's wrap
yes.
this up.
Yeah, yeah.
I watched the first episode with my daughter, and usually we'll watch a show and she'll rewatch it like over and over and over again.
Mhm.
She didn't do that with The Last of Us.
Ah.
She only wants to watch it when I'm around because she was very scared. She was
Too-
scared of the
too
zombies.
spooky?
A little too spooky.
My
That's the-
goodness.
Yeah.
That's the reason I'm not watching the second episode tonight, because I watched the first episode right after we recorded last week, which was stupid because it was an hour and a half long and it was like midnight here. But then the next day I told my oldest, like, I think you'd like this. So we watched it. She really seemed to like it. So we'll kind of wait until she can watch it with me.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, we got some PSVR news, PSVR 2 news this week.
Oh.
PlayStation revealed 13 new titles and the launch lineup for the system or the peripheral that comes out next month here. Included in that are two games near and dear to my heart, of course. I'm talking about Tetris Effect Connected and Res Infinite, which you should absolutely purchase for your PlayStation VR 2 entertainment system.
They excuse me. They also announced Oh God, what's the name of that game?
I don't care what it is. Rez and Tetris Effect connected by those games.
Mhm.
I already bought
That's
those
my
games
unbiased
twice.
opinion. Unbiased. Kind of biased.
Thumper. I saw today that Thumper is coming out on PSVR 2 as well. I don't know.
Oh, is it really?
I don't think it's on that list.
It is on that list. Yes.
Oh, is it? Where is it? I don't see it. Anyway,
It's on the list.
oh yeah, there it is. It's on the list. I found it.
Did you look in the T section?
Yes. Just
Okay.
now.
Look under T for
I have to
Thumper, not
say-
H for Humper.
I have
Different game.
That's a different game.
to get out of my internet history.
And
I have to say that I hate Sony for. I want this thing, and I hate them for selling it to me via games I bought for the previous PSVR.
What do you
Just saying.
mean?
What do I mean? What do I mean? Moss Book 2, Tetris,
Yeah.
Rez,
Yeah.
Resident Evil, The Village, Thumper.
Well, Resident
Beat
Evil
Saber?
Village is not on PSVR 2. It's
Beat Saber.
8.
It says Village. That's what I said. Village.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant 7.
Mhm. Job
Village has
Simulator.
never been in VR.
Really?
No.
Okay.
That was 7.
I thought Village was as well.
Jeez, Greg.
But hey, at least there's a Fanavision. Thank God.
Fantavision
Finally.
Mhm.
20XX or whatever.
Oh, it looks.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't want to be because I don't want to spend the money on it, but I'm excited. So
Yeah. I'm pretty excited. I did pre-purchase one. I don't think I mentioned that on the show, but I did pre-purchase
buy
it.
one.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I had registered for a chance to buy one, and then as it turned out, I don't even think that mattered. They opened it up to everybody, but I did pre-purchase one with the Call of the Mountain game, and yeah.
Can I say that I'm most excited about Kayak VR?
Kayak VR looks like it could be a real chill, fun experience.
That's what I like about it. Yep.
Actually,
And it sort of will give me the whole like I love being on the water in a kayak, but I'm also terrified to be on the water. So kind of fixes that problem.
It kind of does, yeah. And I wonder if there'll be any demos of these games too.
Also want to throw out there though, since we're talking about it, Gran Turismo 7, apparently the support is quite
The whole
broad.
game. The whole
Yeah,
game,
which
right?
is not
really?
what yeah, because I mean with sport, it was literally a single mode. I think you could have up to 2 cars on the track and only on very specific tracks. And that was it.
Yeah.
And there was no progression, no nothing. It sounds like this is a fully featured VR version of GT7, which is I know I won't play it because I'll throw up 5 minutes into it, but I know that some of the people that we that I race with in our league, that's how they play their racing games. So there's some excitement there.
That is the thing I'm interested in with this lineup is that, you know, yeah, VR games can make you nauseous.
Yes.
And luckily, on the MetaQuest, they've got a really good return policy, a refund policy. Whereas if a game makes you ill, if you played it for less than 2 hours, and if the purchase period is within 14 days, you can get a refund pretty easily, and it's sort of self-service via the app. And I've done that before. I've gotten refunds on I think 2 games that I bought, and then they made me ill, so I needed to refund that. But Sony is not as good on refunding digital purchases, and there's no self-service option. You do have to get on the phone with them, and I'm wondering how that's going to go for VR.
Hard to say.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are going to get into VR with this being their first experience.
Yeah.
And you have to know whether you're going to have VR legs or not.
Right.
And kind of know where your limits are. But
yeah, I mean,
that'll be interesting.
There's some good stuff here. I really wish there was an Astrobot on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
I really wish there was Iron Man on this list because I still haven't played Iron Man. So I mean, I could play it on our Quest, I guess, but just kind of holding out to see what's going to be on the PSVR 2.
Yeah. I have pre-ordered Moss 1 and 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to do that, but I'm excited for a Moss 3.
I did that because the pre-purchase is at a discount. And I figured, well,
okay.
if I want to play it on PSVR 2, I'll just pre-buy it and get the discount. So, but a couple of games are doing free upgrades from the PlayStation 4 PSVR 1 version. Rez and Tetris do have an upgrade fee. It's $9.99 to upgrade to the PS5 and PSVR 2 version. So
that's nice.
Yeah, and I think Thumper also is going to do a paid upgrade, but no details on.
I will totally
they're
buy
charging.
That. God, I love Thumper.
Thumper is a great game for sure. For sure.
I mean, Tetris and Rez are good too, but I really love Thumper.
They are good, and I mean, Rez. This is an interesting one. One of the features for PSVR 2 is eye tracking. And you can target and shoot at enemies using your eyes.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's like that old Konami headset for the NES.
I know.
The
all you have to do is look at it.
What is it called?
Laser scope? Was it the laser scope?
The laser scope?
Might have been the laser scope.
It was a laser something.
Konami laser scope.
Yeah. Nice.
Play Top Gun with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tetris Effect Connected, you can enter the zone by blinking, which is a interesting mechanic.
But what happens if you blink involuntarily? Because that's what I find.
I mean, I blink all the time.
Yeah, I was playing a
blink
game
all the time.
I was playing a game that I never talked about on the show because I couldn't get very far because the head tracking didn't work great. But it was all about you used a webcam, and it used eye tracking and head tracking to control the game, and blinking. You used blinking to do certain actions, but my problem was that I just end up blinking involuntarily.
Yeah.
You got to get one of those Clockwork Orange eyepieces.
The blink to enter the zone in Tetris Effect Connected, it's longer than an involuntary blink.
Okay, so
yeah, exactly. So you can't, if you're just blinking, then you'll be fine.
But if you shut your eyes for a good 45 seconds, it'll trigger.
I hope you don't shut your eyes for 45 seconds while playing. You'd lose. You'd top out. But anyway, exciting lineup here. Over 30 games in the launch lineup. Some things have been pushed back, like that Switchback game from is that Supermassive? The people who made Rush of Blood. That apparently is getting pushed back a little. It was going to be launch day, and now
is it going to be like Rush of Blood? Because I'll buy it right away if it is.
It is. It's a spiritual successor to Rush of Blood.
See, I'm going to have to buy this thing.
Yeah, and I'm curious about Call of the Mountain. I'll play that, see how it goes. But anyway, exciting stuff in PSVR land, and you can still pre-purchase one from the PlayStation Direct website.
In Canada,
probably. But I know you can in the US. All right, so let's talk about Stadia
real quick, CJ.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question about the PlayStation VR 2.
Ask me a question. Ask away.
Does that support 3D Blu-rays?
I have no idea.
You know what? That was a feature I never got working on my PlayStation VR.
Oh, really?
I know it was supposed to work. I never, ever got it working.
It does work because I've done it.
I just couldn't do it for some reason.
Yeah, no,
maybe the HDMI cable I was using for the jump box wasn't.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I watched like Spider-Verse in 3D with the PSVR, and it was fantastic.
Did you find it all? Because I know that like even when I tried big screen mode, my problem was always that the screen would wander a little bit. Like it wasn't super noticeable, but like after a long session of sitting and watching, like I had physically turned to see the screen.
Oh, yeah, that did not happen to me.
There was that issue with PSVR 1.
Yeah,
I mean, I sat on my couch and watched Spider-Verse and like one of the Godzilla, like the recent Godzilla movies in 3D, and didn't have the screen like wandering around or anything like that.
Okay.
I just sat perfectly still without moving.
I find it hard to believe that you could ever sit perfectly still.
That's hard to do.
Because blinking activates your chapter skips.
Okay.
And suddenly the movie was over.
But if you wink your left eye, it rewinds. So
Yikes.
Oh,
So Edge did a cover story on PSVR 2, and there was a bit in there about using eye tracking to select options on the screen.
yeah.
So you use your eyes to look at something, and then you press a button to confirm that you want to go into that option. I thought that was pretty interesting, an interesting use of the eye tracking.
For sure.
Yeah. Be curious to see how other games use that particular feature, and the headset rumble too, because you get feedback on the headset.
I want nothing more than my head rumbling.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
I feel like I'm just gonna have a massive. I know I sound like an old man, but I'm just gonna have a massive headache the second that.
Well,
starts
it's not like it hits you in the head.
I know, but it's still
Physically, it's
rumbling
just
on
rumble.
your head. It's attached to your head.
Yeah,
You're wearing it.
yeah. Well, you've never put a
Oh.
rumbling controller to your head? I mean, come on, same. No.
I mean like my
Anyway.
forehead?
Yeah.
No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
What?
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's talk about Stadia, because it shut down last week.
What's to talk about? It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. If you did have a Stadia controller, now you can use a self-service
Yes.
tool to turn the controller into a regular old Bluetooth controller that does not use Wi-Fi to connect to the Stadia service. So
Huh.
Yes.
I
That's
have
pretty
that.
cool.
I have a controller in a box that I've never opened.
You're
So
part of the problem.
I think it will remain that way.
What do you have to do to it?
You just plug it in, and there's like a web tool that'll update the firmware to
gotcha.
activate Bluetooth.
I mean, that's great that they did that because, from all accounts, it's a pretty decent controller.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's nice to have a controller that you can just another. Yeah, that's a cool idea. I love it.
For sure. For sure.
Rather than it just being a paperweight.
Indeed. How about all those layoffs last week?
Yeah, not great.
We
Yeah.
had what? GameSpot, Giant Bomb, 343, Microsoft, Google,
Amazon laid
Who
off a
else?
bunch of people too,
Amazon did too. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
A lot of layoffs in tech. And
Mhm.
Wasn't Bethesda part of that
gaming,
too? I know that's part of Microsoft.
Bethesda was part of that as well. Yeah.
Ugh.
And apparently, as part of it, 343 is. I guess they're still going to be involved in Halo, but there was some talk. I read some rumor that somebody else might do Halo games.
Oh.
See, I mean, I don't follow Halo as closely as I used to, obviously, but it feels like it's never really 343's never really hit it out of the park on Halo.
No.
And I mean, I think it's probably time to give someone else a
Probably.
shot.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, and I hate to hear about tech people losing jobs, especially the Microsoft thing where they're in the middle of acquiring Blizzard,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, okay, so but you're going to lay off. I mean, they laid off, was it thousands?
Yes.
That's wild.
Across all of Microsoft, not just Xbox. But
I know,
yes.
but still, right? Like you're in the middle of a very high dollar acquisition, and I know that one doesn't necessarily have a whole lot to do with the other, but
Yeah.
still, I don't know.
Do you think the
Suck.
Activision thing is going to go through?
I probably.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea, but probably.
Yeah, it probably will go through. But Ubisoft is having some troubles too, having some
Mhm.
financial issues. I think we talked about Skull and Bones being delayed last week, but it seems like they are a bit in trouble themselves.
Hmm.
And I think the
Guess
same
Mario
kind of
plus
thing
Rabbids.
happened with Activision, right? Where they got so hit driven based on Call of Duty that
Yep.
anything else, like anything that that falters in the market could like bring them down.
The whole everything
like Ubisoft is in a similar place.
Yeah, I think everything is so analytics driven at this point that they've just they've test marketed their way into these massive holes now. But I guess Mario plus Rabbids 2 didn't perform either the way they were hoping. I heard.
How can that really be shocking, though? Like,
well, I know, but still, I mean, it's
people bought that first Mario Rabbids game because it was the first year of Switch and there was nothing available.
And I think Ubisoft just learned that.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo hasn't done an ARMS sequel, hasn't done a 1-2 Switch sequel, even though those games sold, over 1 million copies. They're smart enough to know, well, hey, that was probably just the afterglow of launch that sort of propelled those games to sales.
I particularly loved Yves Guillemot coming out and telling the employees to, really buckle down and work hard so we can get ourselves out of this mess. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
It's not the day-to-day employees that are anyway.
Well, they canceled apparently they had a bunch of battle royales in development, which is just
of course, get that
so trend chasing, just unbelievable. And they have to release Skull and Bones, otherwise they take a huge financial hit.
Yeah, that was interesting when you said that last week. I had no idea.
Yeah, it may not do well, but they have to release it.
Say it's going to be cheap.
I'm not buying it for full price. They do have a deluxe edition for digital, but I think I'm going to hold off. That'll be cheap quick. I just have a feeling that's going to be cheap very, very fast. So, but anyway, sorry to hear so many people got laid off, especially like in the press. Some good folks lost their jobs. Hopefully they're able to land on their feet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess we're ending the news segment on a bit of a downer, but what can you do?
I just want to say,
what you've been playing.
No, wait a minute. I mean, I think like Mr. Coffee in the chat has a good point. And I think a lot of companies used to do this where it's like, they used to create fresh games and sort of take some chances here and there. And it just doesn't seem like that's sort of what I was getting at with the whole, well, like you said, trend chasing, but like analytics driven. It's like, it almost feels like now if you don't have proof that the previous game in a series was hot, it just doesn't get greenlit, period. Everything has to be a sequel or related to something that was already a hit or a remake. Speaking of which, boy, Dead Space is almost here, but yeah,
it is. Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I kind of wish we had the Ubisoft that took some chances. I mean, that's how we got Beyond Good and Evil, right? I was
going to say the Beyond Good and Evil Ubisoft, exactly. Like,
yeah.
Where's
that one? Well, they're still apparently developing Beyond Good and Evil 2, but somehow I don't ever see that.
Such bull. But yeah, I mean that's a great, like that's the example. Like there was that year where Beyond Good and Evil and the Prince of Persia reboot came out.
Yeah,
I was like, this is awesome. Like it's creative, and even one's a remake, well, not a remake, a reboot.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, it's time for what you've been playing, and I will kick us off this week. A little game on iOS came out, Apple Arcade, from a little company called Game Freak. It's called Pocket Card Jockey Ride On.
Oh, yes.
A solitaire game, but also a horse racing game that has some of the cutest character design you ever did see on an iPhone. No, this is a remake of the 3DS game that came out back in like 2012, 2013. And in it, you are playing solitaire to win horse races. It's a little more complicated than that. You have to position your horse in the right spots for it to get either a more difficult or easier time. And there's towards the end of each race, you have to more actively control your horse, not just by solitaire, but by striking your horse, whipping your horse. Is that right?
What? CJ, It's terrible.
or encouraging it, whispering softly into its ear and encouraging it to go faster. Perhaps that might work. But yeah, so this came to Apple Arcade, and it is a fantastic game. I loved it on 3DS. I'm really enjoying it on iPhone as well. It looks great, is very well written, has a lot of fun humor in it as well, and it's just a joy to play. And I'm so glad that it's on Apple Arcade. I mean, they could put it out on Switch too, and I would buy it there. But I happen to have an Apple Arcade subscription, and I'm playing it there, and I'm quite enjoying it. Phil, I believe you are playing it as well.
I have played it a bit. It's still a fun little game.
It's still so fun.
It's still super charming, and a nice little pick up and play experience.
It really is. I am not great at solitaire, but I enjoy solitaire.
And this is not.
How is one not good at solitaire?
Well, this is not traditional solitaire.
Okay.
This is not. I mean, it is a single player card game, but it is not the traditional kind of what you think of when you're playing, when you hear I'm playing solitaire.
Okay.
It's a different kind of, because what is it? It lays out a grid of cards.
Yeah.
Right. Is it like a 4x5 grid, something like that?
Something to that effect.
Yeah. And you have to select cards to pull them off the board by choosing
energy.
Yeah, like by choosing a card that's like one higher or one lower.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah. And then if you can't, then you draw from the deck and go from there.
So that's actually, as far as I can tell, that is a version of solitaire.
Oh, is it really?
It's not. Yeah. So solitaire, everyone, when they say solitaire, I think the version most of us think of is, I think it's called Klondike, which is like the however many columns across, and
right.
What you're describing is, I believe, called Golf Solitaire.
Oh, okay.
So it is an actual solitaire game, like a traditional solitaire game.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's super fun, and it's on Apple Arcade, so go check that out. I also because of the PSVR 2 announcement, I went back and loaded up my Quest and played some games that I hadn't played before. One is A Fisherman's Tale, and this is a game that I got in a bundle. I think I forget if I got it in a Humble Bundle or on Fanatical or something, but I got it as part of a bundle. And this is a puzzle. It's a narrative puzzle game. But part of the mechanic is that you're a fisherman in this sort of lighthouse setting, but you're also building a model of the lighthouse that you live in your little cabin. And you find out that, well, the model is actually your cabin, and you can manipulate things in the model that will then be manipulated in your reality as well. Oh. And it uses that for you to solve some puzzles, and so far, anyway, it's a pretty chill experience. I'm on chapter 3 or so, maybe further than that. I have left the main floor of the lighthouse and I'm going up the tower now. So I'm maybe an hour and a half or so into it, but really enjoying it. And this is a game I got like super cheap in a bundle.
I loved that game I played that on the PSVR and I just adored it. It's so, like you said, it's just very chill. It looks really pretty. Like it's got a really great art style. Yeah, love that game.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And then I also loaded up an Astrobot Rescue Mission, which I bought on discount, because I have a PSVR 1 now. I don't know if I've said that on the show either. I have access to a PSVR 1. And
it's like, I'm assuming through work or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay,
but
you didn't go buy one like.
Yeah, last week.
Right. No.
Yeah. Okay.
They were clearing them out in the fall for like $200. You could get the full set with Iron Man
Oh, okay.
So I got one then.
Okay.
And so I've been playing some PSVR 1 games, including Astrobot, and I was hopeful. I had my fingers crossed that they would announce Astrobot before the PSVR 2 came out, but they didn't. So instead, I've gone back to PSVR 1 and have been playing Astrobot. So I'm in the second world now, and it is again just a joy to play.
It's an incredible game.
I'm jealous about your ability to experience that for the first time.
I know it's great. I'm kind of floored by how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I was telling you years ago.
Yeah,
I know. But there was something recently. So I got to the second world, and there's one bit where there was like a fan or something in front of me, and I was like, do I blow now? Like they've used the controller, the little pad on the controller for everything. Does the PSVR have a microphone on it that I can like blow? So I did that and it reacted, and I was like, holy crap, it has a microphone. I did not know that. So very exciting. But the game looks great. Platforming's awesome. It's very comfortable to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am having a blast playing that. I can see why it was both of your game of the year that came out, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was.
I can't imagine it not being mine.
Yeah.
And
then I also went back to Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh,
I figured if I'm going to play Call of the Mountain in a month, I should get up on my Horizon lore. But really, I was just looking for an open world game to mess around in. And I was like, oh, well, I have Horizon here. I'll load that up and see if I can't make some progress in that.
I very nearly started the first one today. The PlayStation 4 game. Which one was that? What was that called? Zero Dawn?
Zero Dawn. Yeah.
Realizing that I've never opened my copy.
Oh, jeez.
Oh. Whoops.
But yeah, I ended up deciding to try to play through the Halo campaign just because it's the only Halo I haven't played through, and I kind of want to experience it while it's free on Game Pass.
Well, I think also Horizon, I believe, is on PlayStation Plus.
Is it?
So you don't.
Good. I don't have to open my copy.
You don't have to open it.
There's my retirement fund.
Just download it. But I don't really love the combat in that game, and I just wish it was better. And I don't love the exploration in it either. Like for an open world game, I never feel like I can really go off the path and find anything cool. Like it's always mission based. It's always go point A to point B, point C, point D. Like it feels almost too linear. Whereas something like Breath of the Wild, at least I could kind of go off track and explore the world. And that's sort of what I find myself being more into nowadays. So anyway, I'll still continue playing Horizon Forbidden West and just see if it grabs me. I think I'm about halfway through the game at this point. Revealed like half the map so far. So I'm still working my way west in the Forbidden West. I'm going to Las Vegas in the game.
Oh,
nice. Good old Lost Wages.
Yes. And then I played a little game on Stadia this week before it died. I played the Worm game that they put up there as like
I don't understand what
they
did there. Yeah.
I don't know why they did it, but it is a test game for Stadia, and the latency is really good. It's really low latency on it, but it's
basically there's no one playing it.
A game. Well, yeah, it's like a single player game. It's like Snake. You're a worm, and you're moving around to collect fruit and coins. And the sort of gimmick here, I mean, obviously, every time you collect a fruit, your segment grows by 1. And they have a lot of fruit on screen, so you get pretty big pretty quick. The one thing you can do is bite your own tail off up to 3 times. You can make yourself smaller and not die. But you can only do it like 2 or 3 times, and then you're dead. But I thought that was interesting. Cute little game, cute music, cute title screen music. But Stadia's gone, and so is Worm Game. So I won't be playing any more of that. And then I played Fire Emblem Engage on the Nintendo Switch. Have you heard about this? Have you heard?
I've heard about this. Yeah.
Yes.
I with the Fire Emblem series, I really liked Awakening back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I had absolutely no interest in Three Houses because I thought it looked terrible. It just did not look good. I thought the UI, the graphic style of Awakening looked awesome. And Three Houses just was not good. So I skipped that one. But hey, they're back to making games that look good again. This time, one really made by Intelligent Systems instead of Bandai Namco, like Three Houses. So Fire Emblem Engage looks fantastic. I think this is maybe one of the best games, visually speaking, on the Switch.
Wow.
It's real pretty. And so I'm playing some Fire Emblem. I'm doing some tactic RPG stuff, which is not generally a genre that I like, except I did like Fire Emblem Awakening back on the 3DS. So I'm playing through this and quite enjoying it. A lot of the story is fully voiced, and the battle scenes look great. I'm playing in casual mode, not permadeath mode,
because you're not psychotic.
Yeah, but I'm having a good bit of fun with it. I'm on chapter 5 in this game. So just really at the beginning. I think so far each chapter has been one battle. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
So I was watching like the sort of the video, not announcement, but like the trailer, I guess.
They did like an explainer video.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a lot of really nice features in there for like someone who's not necessarily like an expert at this sort of strategy RPG game, which I think is great because especially when you have a series that's been going on as long as Fire Emblem. I mean, it's been going on a long time since the Famicom. It's real easy to get into a situation where you make an assumption of your audience that they know what's going on. Right. So, but Nintendo's always been one of the best companies about helping you out with that sort of thing. So I really like the stuff I was seeing, like even just really easy guides for like, here's your range. And if you go this far, you're going to be in range of an enemy. So like, just giving you those extra little bits of information to help you make informed decisions and ease you into the process, as opposed to just throwing you into a game, especially a game where you can have permadeath on. And just I love it. I love the idea of that in general. I don't know that I'll play it because I'm not really a big Fire Emblem fan, but
one thing I really do appreciate about it, and I think this has been the case since Awakening, is that if you're getting ready to battle another character, it'll tell you like the estimated outcome. It might not be exactly this, but this is how much damage you're going to do. Probably like percent wise. So I really appreciate that because I'm terrible at these games, and I want to do the thing where I'm like, okay, I'm going to move this guy over here. What if I do that? Oh no, I'm going to move this guy there. Or what if I do that? Or what is this character more powerful against this weapon set or whatever? Like I like that flexibility. And early on in the game, you get a time stone. I think I don't know what the item name is. But basically, like you can continually rewind. If you make the wrong move, which is very nice because some of these battles
time sweeping.
Apparently later in the game, some of these battles will take quite a while to play out, and having that ability to rewind incrementally on your moves is and you can save anywhere too. Save your game at any point.
I mean, that's just it. And this series has sort of flirted with a lot of that stuff anyway, because again, it's I think the real vision for it is to have permadeath on.
Yes, that's the
but
original vision. Right?
just the ability to turn that off has always been a nice feature. But yeah, why not take it further? And because in that kind of game, it's so easy, and it's not just Fire Emblem; it's any game like this. If you're a bit of a rookie, or maybe you don't pay close enough attention, who knows? It's so easy to just get yourself into a terrible, unwinnable situation in a strategy
Yes.
RPG like that. So yeah, I mean, why not give people those options? Because you look at Fire Emblem, and it's definitely a series that, even if you're not into those kinds of games, it's like, boy, it's so pretty, and I really do want to try this. But I find that, and I've always found that the strategy RPGs can be so inscrutable for someone who's never played one before. That a lengthy tutorial with a bunch of text isn't necessarily a fix for that. So, yeah.
Right. And I think this game is particularly good about introducing you to the mechanics battle by battle and sort of sandwiching it between story elements where you're going to get a little bit of story and then a battle, and then it'll teach you this mechanic and that mechanic, like as you go, in a really nice way. So it doesn't expect that you're going to be a fan of the genre necessarily, or an expert at the genre, which I appreciate, because like you're saying, too many like long running series just expect that you know what you're doing, and that's never the case for me. I don't know what I'm doing. In a lot of games, I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm really enjoying it though. Anyway,
Cool.
Gregory.
I completed God of War 2018.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
completed.
I completed it.
All right.
And I have to say, I've talked about this game previously. I was a little bit cranky about the open world stuff and the sheer amount of resources. I think there's only 45 different types of resources that you have to collect. And when I think previously I had just gotten the blades, his I forget what they're called, but the blades that Kratos has in the previous games.
Chain blades or
They're
whatever.
not
Is
called
that
chain blades, I don't
no?
think. But anyway,
Chain blades.
you've
Are they
described them,
chain.
but that's not what they are.
They're blades on a chain.
Yep, true. True.
Okay.
But yeah, I previously sort of
Blade
complained
chains?
about. Yeah, I think you're right.
yeah.
I previously complained about sort of
The chain
how
blades?
the story progression had not been screwed up, but had ground to a halt because of all the open world stuff and all the resource
Blades of
collection.
Chaos.
Blades of Chaos, that's what they're called.
There you go.
But
They're on
anyway,
chains.
I had reached the point where the game sort of funnels back into a more linear progression to the end game. And that's sort of what I jammed through over the last couple of days. And I have to say, man, that game really redeems itself in the final like third or quarter even. The story is fantastic. The scenes are so God of War. Like the final boss is I mean, the whole time you're fighting the final boss, there's a giant that's sort of inserting itself into the battle. It's gigantic. I mean, it's just, it's, again, God of War's always done amazing things with scale anyway. That's always kind of been its calling card, even way back on the PlayStation 2. Was it? Yeah, the 2. PlayStation 2 is where God of War started. So I love seeing that. And the story really, once I got back into it, it really picked up. I love some of the stuff that's revealed at the end. I really liked everything about it. Like like I said, it really redeemed itself. If I had to say the game as a whole, I still sort of stick by what I was saying, where I think the open world stuff hurts it. I really do. It feels extremely tacked on to me, when the best parts of that game was sort of the stories and the boss fights, and it didn't need to be an open world game to accomplish the positives that it has. But I get it. You want to make it big and open and give you lots of stuff to collect so that you have lots of stuff to upgrade. And, it goes beyond just, at first I thought this was just a way that they wanted to let you customize Kratos and Atreus. But I think it has way more to do with replay value and adding length to the game, which I just wasn't down for. I will say though, getting done with it and like this is well known, and I knew this right from the start. I do love how where this was a reboot of the series, like a soft reboot, but it wasn't like the previous games didn't exist.
Right.
And it is tied directly into the story that like everything that previously happened. I'm sure if you pick apart the timeline, there's probably moments that, don't fit in this storyline, but everything that previously happened in the fair amount of God of War games we've had in the past, it's still part of the history of the character. And they really address it. And I love that. It makes the end game that much better. So, a big fan for sure. I see what everyone loves about it now. I was struggling to see that during the mid game. It really does grind almost to a halt if you don't realize that, all this extra crap I don't need to do. I feel like I do need to do it. Like I'm one of those, kind of like what you're saying, CJ, like when I have an open world map and there's an icon over there, I feel like I got to go see what that's about.
Right.
And like I'm definitely getting into the situation where, and the game is good about this, is like this icon is the critical path. Like that's where you want to go to progress the story.
Yeah.
And here's these 12 other things you could do. Well, I'm going to go do the 12 other things first. And it's just none of them seem to have any real consequence, which is what I didn't like about it. Learning that I didn't need to do any of that stuff and I could have just critical path the whole thing. And like, I think it's such a difficult balancing act. And it's something that open world games, I think, struggle with in general is that, but I think Sony in particular has to watch out about it because Sony has gotten so good at the narrative story, like the narrative games, right? Where the narrative is so important all the time that if you're trying to build tension, but then you've got these 12 other side missions that don't mean anything, it kills the momentum of the story and it kills the tension. And, so it just, and then when you really want to do that from a storytelling perspective, you have to sort of lock off all the open world stuff so that you can funnel the player into the story and sort of get the beats and the timing right. It's a hard thing to balance. And I still don't think God of War 2018 balanced it at all. Like I look at something, I never played through The Witcher 3, but I look at something like The Witcher 3, where like the side missions, the better side missions in that game felt like their own little compact stories that fit the world and they were done really well. And I feel like that's kind of where God of War fell down. But again, when you're in the story, it's fantastic. And the gameplay is great. I really grew to love it. When I got the Chaos Blades, I was like, okay, this is what I was looking for. The Leviathan X was good once I learned to use it and I started to appreciate it and I upgraded a little bit. But the Blades of Chaos were just like, yeah, this is Kratos. This is the Kratos I like controlling. I like playing with. I wish I'd gotten them earlier in the game. But for the most part, yeah. So if you're at all wondering about whether you should play God of War from 5 years ago, absolutely.
I see. Now,
but I'm not jumping into Ragnarok right away.
Okay, I was going to say, because of your reception, your opinion changing of God of War 2018, are you more likely to jump faster into Ragnarok because of that?
I considered it because when the game finishes, I was on such a high from finishing the game. I was very close to just like, well, I'm just going to fire up Ragnarok right now. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready to go. But no, because I feel like I would burn out on it way too fast. Even though my opinion of the previous game has changed a lot by finishing it. I think it makes sense to wait like a couple months, maybe Dead Space.
5 years.
I'll play like Dead Space first. You know what I mean? And then maybe jump into Ragnarok.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
have a palate cleanser. Like
yeah,
Dead
pretty
Space.
much. I want to play something different. Yeah. But that's what I've been playing this week.
All right. Philip.
Yeah.
What have you been playing, sir?
Well, I played a little pocket card jockey Ride On, like we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
It's funny you dove back into Astrobot rescue mission
Mm.
this week because I was feeling a little Astrobot.
Astro Body.
Yeah. So I booted up Astro's playground or playroom.
Playroom.
Astro's
Yeah.
Playroom again. The PS5 pack-in title. And turns out you can't start over in that game. There's no multiple save files or anything.
So you created a new profile on your PS5.
No, I
and-
didn't. No, but if you select new game and a little warning comes up that says, "Oh, we're going to delete your old game file. Is that okay?" And I said, let's do it.
Absolutely.
So I wiped my Astro's Playroom file and started over and just played through. I mean, it's short,
Right.
a couple hours. But I played through it all over again, and good Lord. What a great little
stuff.
game.
Mm-hmm.
It is
mean,
great.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just played through that again and just had an absolute blast with it.
Mm.
All over again, finding all those little PlayStation artifacts throughout the system's histories. It's so good. You know what? I noticed a
It
little
is.
detail. I'm sure people will notice this back when that first came out, but I never noticed it. I never happened to stumble onto people calling it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed, as you play through that game, you find artifacts that just here's all a bunch of models of the accessories for the various PlayStations. Here's models of the actual systems. But like on a lot of that stuff, if you rotate the model of the system or the device, you can actually read like serial numbers.
Mhm.
And the serial numbers have notable PlayStation creators' names hidden in them.
Yeah.
Maybe we even
Nice.
talked about this on the show and I just
I
forgot
don't know
about
if
it.
we did, but I do remember hearing that. I don't know if I read about it or if I figured it out myself. But
Because I think maybe it was the model of the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. And I was, looking at it, zooming in on it, just kind of feeling nostalgia for the original PlayStation model. And yeah, just like, oh, it's I forget who's
Ken
which-
Kutaragi?
I think it might have been, yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, it was like his name, just like, kind of in leet speak with 4s for A's and stuff like
Mm.
that. But I was like,
That's fun.
oh, so I started going through looking at all the models and picking up
We use
people.
use this phrase a lot, but it's a love letter to
Oh, absolutely.
PlayStation history, right? Which
Yeah.
is one of the things that was so great about it.
Absolutely. And then
There
again,
was some of that in Rescue Mission. I fought the first boss, which is that monkey
Mhm.
thing. I didn't realize the surface that you're fighting that on is a PS1.
Oh, is it really?
Turned around, yeah.
I'll have to go back.
got the-
I'll have to go back and look
It's
at
got
that.
the buttons and the reset button.
Oh man,
Huh. I don't
It's
think
so
I even
great.
noticed that.
it's so great.
Yeah. It's very good.
Yeah. No, absolutely adore.
Do you
Astrobot and-
think we are going to have an Astrobot PSVR 2 game announced for
God, I hope
PSVR 2 this year?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I really
I'm
hope
shocked
so.
that they didn't try to fast track that for launch, but I guess they're letting Call of the Mountain kind of have its time.
More like Yawn of the Mountain.
Well,
Give me
we'll
Astrobot.
see. We'll
They
see.
should be
Apparently,
constantly-
Aloy does show up in Call of the Mountain.
What's that?
Apparently, Aloy does show up in Call of the Mountain. You are not playing as Aloy, but
Does Astrobot show up?
I hope so.
Because otherwise, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
You know,
What about that kayak game? Astrobot should show up in that one.
Astrobot should show up in every game. They should
In
be
everything.
constantly announcing new Astrobot games. That is my strategy.
If you ran Sony,
Yes.
if you ran PlayStation,
Yeah.
constant Astrobot games.
Yes. We're-
Cancel everything else.
Yep. All games that are currently in development are being shifted to become Astrobot games.
Yep.
Spider-Man 2 is now an Astrobot game. Astrobot's going to be roping around the city, saving the day.
Last of Us Part 3, Astrobot.
Yep. The Astrobot of us. We're gonna call up HBO. We're gonna CG a big Astrobot right over Pedro Pascal's face, and we're set.
Love it.
The other thing that I started playing this week is a horror game, a spooky horror game.
What?
Yeah. And you know, I know you're a big fan of that Friday the 13th game, CJ.
I love it. Yeah.
So I started playing Friday the 13th Killer Puzzle.
Oh, the bait and switch.
The old bait and switch. I got you.
Oh,
You got so excited for a second.
I did.
No, I picked up that Friday the 13th puzzle game solely because it's going away.
Yeah, it's getting delisted.
Yes, their license for that game has not been renewed, and I think actually as we are recording, I think it goes away tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if you want it, get on it now.
Get it quick.
If you're listening to this show on like Tuesday, sorry, you missed it. But yeah, I picked it up just for the novelty of having a game that's going away.
I see.
It's a cute little game. It's a
cute puzzle game.
Yeah, it's a little like
started
kinda,
as there was a game before it, same creators, called Slayaway Camp.
Yeah.
I think they brought it out on mobile, but it also came out on some other platforms, I think. But then they got the Friday the 13th license to do a version of Slayaway Camp with Jason Voorhees.
So it's the same kind of gameplay mechanic?
Yeah, it's the same kind of gameplay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those games. It's like kind of like a sliding puzzle type thing where you have a little game grid board and you slide Jason around on it.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of slide him around the maze-like layout so that he crosses paths with his victims and kills them. I mean, honestly, it feels like a mini game that's part of a bigger game.
Well, it started out as a mobile game, so I mean,
right? So yeah,
it tracks.
Yeah, but yeah, it's cute enough. It's a cute little game. The graphics are all like, it looks kind of like South Park. Like all the characters have like big round heads and that sort of thing. But it's cute. It's going away, as licensed games are wont to do.
Yeah, it makes me wonder about the Friday the 13th game that is the asymmetrical multiplayer game. That that's also a Friday the 13th licensed game.
Right.
So is that going away too? I don't know.
Didn't they have to like stop development on a portion of it or something like that at one point?
Yeah. They did. Right. They were developing new content for it, and because of the lawsuit, they had to stop. Basically, they were not allowed to create any more content for it. That includes, they were working on a Jason X map for that game, and with Space Jason and all of that fun space stuff. There was going to be a spaceship based level for that game, which I'm very upset that never saw the light of day. But they were working on it. But yeah, they had to stop because of the lawsuit. So over the rights.
Now you can play as Cyber Jason.
Yeah,
is that what they call him? You can play as the Jason X Jason in the puzzle game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can also play as the NES Jason, which is kind of cute.
That's awesome. Fun. You can do that in the purple asymmetrical multiplayer game too.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, you're a purple Jason, and then the music when you show up to kill people is chiptune. Like,
oh, that's funny.
Music,
very cute.
It's fun.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the bulk of what I've been playing this week.
I see. Alrighty.
So,
does that mean it's time for tweets?
I don't know. Is it?
I guess
Sounds like
a
it's
good
time
time
for
for it.
tweets.
Hey, I'll throw this in real quick. My kid got into Fortnite now.
Oh,
CJ.
I was gonna
And
ask
friends
you.
now.
Yes. So
Yeah.
So for Christmas, Finn got a new laptop, and because his previous laptop was a few years old and could not handle Fortnite, but his new one can.
Hmm.
And a couple of his buddies are into Fortnite, so he decided to start playing it, and now he's into Fortnite. So allowances
Yeah.
is now being split between Robux and V-Bucks.
There you go. Now, if I recall, Phil, we had a conversation on Slack
Yes.
where you were saying that your son was encouraging you to play. He wanted you to squad up
He wants
him.
Is that the term?
Squad up.
Yes,
Kill me.
and
Okay.
play a duos game. Now, let me ask you, Phil, did you end up playing Fortnite duos?
I don't remember there being discussion of duos. I don't even know what that means.
Oh no,
Is that a Fortnite thing?
Yeah, if you play like two players in a friend lobby.
Oh, okay. See, we didn't go that far. He just said he wanted to play Fortnite with me.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes.
I haven't
So I
yet.
imagine it would be duos where you play together on the same team.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, and then you have to determine, of course, where you are dropping. Like you say, "Hey, son, where are we dropping?" That's
that
where
like
on the map are
Is that a
you
euphemism
going
for pooping?
Hmm.
That's where on the map you're going to parachute out to and land.
Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
see. No,
And you
I haven't
mark on the map where you want your
Yeah,
squad.
I haven't played a game with him yet, so
Okay, well,
at some point. But he did buy the xenomorph from Alien. He got there was a pack of like a skin of that and Ripley. So he got some Aliens characters, and he got the season pass. So he's I think he's at like level. Last I saw, he was at like level 53 or something like that in his season pass.
Yeah.
So he's unlocking. What did he get? He got the Doom guy, and who else is in the current season pass? CJ, you know this.
well, the only one that you know is the Doom guy, but then
Okay.
also you get like you get back bling for the Doom guy, and you get a glider that is like the
Cacodemon.
Yeah, the Cacodemon.
Yes, he got that. He was very excited about the Cacodemon
Yeah,
glider.
yeah.
And there's like some anime character you can unlock.
Well, yeah, they have original characters that you
Right.
can unlock.
Well, is that anime character? Is that an original character, or is that like from some anime I've never heard of?
No, I think that's an original character. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
But yes, he's very excited.
And then later on in the season, Geralt from The Witcher is going to be unlockable.
Oh, okay.
So the way that they do things is they kind of parse the content for the season out over a period of time. So Geralt is not available yet, but
okay,
when he is, there'll be like probably specific missions for him.
Well, Finn's a big Henry Cavill fan, as most children are.
Of course. Yeah.
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 He was very insistent on watching that recent Mission Impossible movie. And by recent, I mean from a few years ago. But yeah, so that's his new thing. But I haven't played it with him yet. But I'm sure I'm sure at some point we'll have Doom guy fighting RoboCop.
Yeah.
And
right, because you have the RoboCop skin.
I do.
That's right.
So there we go.
Well, it looks great on PS5 now with Unreal 5. So,
oh, good. Yes, I did. I did download it on PS5.
Finn is playing it on his laptop, but he could have played it on Switch or really any other system. Up to now, he could have played with his friends who were playing on PC.
But you know what? He's turning into a PC kid.
Oh,
he likes
PC Master Race.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that.
Get him a Steam Deck.
Yeah,
no, I'm not. I'm not getting
You
my
say that
kid a
now.
Steam Deck. My goodness.
It doesn't have to be for him. Get it for you.
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't need a Steam Deck.
You say that
really.
now.
Hmm?
You say that now.
Well, I do.
They're pretty great.
I'm sure they are, but I ain't gonna play it.
I mean, for how much you spend on them, they're pretty great.
Yeah.
They
There
better
was
be.
someone on our Discord who I believe we were talking about the Player One group on Steam, which you are an admin of, Phil, that nobody else is. And
Oh, am I an admin of that?
yeah, apparently.
I
Yes.
Is that something that we set up like 15 years ago and
15
promptly forgot
years ago.
about?
Yes, yeah. Pretty
Okay.
much. But they were commenting that you play a lot, or you seem to be like the highest level player they have on their friends list, but you never talk about PC games on the show.
It's true.
Why is that?
I don't play a whole. You know what it is? It's probably me farming for those stupid trading cards so I can sell
I
them.
was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Because
That's
so
probably
many
what
of the
it
games,
is.
so many games I have on my Steam list, you are one of the icons that pops up to say this person also plays this game.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
like
'cause I have
know
a
Phil doesn't
zillion
play a lot of
games.
PC stuff.
I have a zillion games from various bundles and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah. And then I was probably just farming
click.
trading cards to sell.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
sorry PC gamers. But yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, I guess that means it's time for tweets.
Tweedledee, a tweedledee, tweet, a tweet.
Alrighty, let's see what we got here. I think we will go ahead and do this one from yeah, we go. Yeah, okay, let's.
A big decision for CJ today.
God!
First time here. Let's do this one from listener Ed, who says, "Are there any games not from your youth when we all had crappy taste sometimes that you've gone away loving and returned to find you really don't like them now? I had this with Mass Effect 1."
So a recent-ish game.
Yeah,
And
you
probably
said
by
not from your
recent-ish.
youth?
What's that?
Not from your youth.
Okay.
It doesn't
So
mean
like
that
last
they
20
are.
years.
Yeah.
I saw this tweet, and the first thing that popped to mind for me is actually Stuntman. Remember Stuntman?
Yes.
It was on the cover of
Yes.
VGM at one point, actually, I think.
Mhm.
Which was like
Yeah.
the follow-up to Driver from Reflections. And I remember I reviewed that game for EGM, and I think I gave it the highest score. And I finished it, and it's super difficult, and I loved it. I loved the premise of it. I loved everything about it. And I went back and tried it again, like probably 10 years ago. Screw that game, man. Like it's so unfairly difficult. It's just like I don't know how I ever got through it, but I
That's funny.
loved it when it came out.
I'm suddenly getting friend requests on Steam.
I wonder why.
From someone who's in our chat.
Mhm.
I don't want to say who, just in case they don't want me.
There you go.
But it's
Um,
oh my goodness.
I can't think of any because I generally don't return to a lot of games.
CJ's always looking forward.
Always
I'm
looking
trying.
forward.
I saw this question as well, and I was trying to think of something that fits that. And boy, it seems like there should be,
Yeah.
but nothing's immediately popping to mind.
Donkey Kong 64. No.
Oh, Jesus.
No, that was never good.
No.
Yeah, but it
No.
wasn't about being good. It's about something you liked.
Oh,
I did like Donkey Kong 64
Yeah,
at the time.
I
but
think
I'm
that's a good
sure I
answer.
wouldn't-
yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure I wouldn't now.
I can't imagine
not
why
on-
you would.
It's not on Nintendo Switch Online yet, but I'm sure I would not like it.
Now, I'm thinking like maybe like maybe old first-person shooters where like the controls and stuff have gotten so much better. Like, something like GoldenEye, maybe.
Sure.
But GoldenEye
I
was
know
never
what you
good.
mean. I know what you mean, where it's like the first person shooter control standards hadn't been born yet.
Right, exactly. Like, yes, I loved GoldenEye back in the day, but like going back and playing it now, it might be kind of rough.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
But I don't know if that's really the spirit of this question.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
I'm sure if I went back to Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I would find it pretty terrible now.
Yeah.
But that's because I like Sea of Thieves is my pirate game.
Mhm.
All right, let's do this one from listener Esteban, who says, when you were kids, what was the craziest story you heard about video games? My friend's brother heard that if you taped a picture of yourself onto your NES, that you would appear in the games. Oh my God.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
You can only do that in Japan on the disk drive. You had to tape your picture to the Famicom disk drive.
If you yell into the controller too, you'll get a 1-up.
I heard this one rumor that was nuts where you could play as Simon Belmont in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
I saw code for that in a magazine.
I bought that hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, so did I actually.
Oh my God.
That was the one EGM April Fool's trick that got me.
Yep.
Nice.
Because it seemed plausible, and the code was, I mean, whoever wrote that was brilliant, because the code was just perfectly long enough that, because I think you had to input it before the title screen disappeared, and it was like you get so close that it was really plausible that you were just like a millisecond too slow. So you could totally get this. Yeah.
Too good.
But no, I don't have a real answer for this, but yeah, that April Fool's joke got me. Completely got me.
I think mine is just the existence of the Minus World.
No,
it was before Nintendo printed how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a rumor that it was a thing. There was like another world or whatever. And turned out it was true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy
times. All right. Let's do this one from hacker alias Fogbear, who says, any favorite recollection of the EGM April Fool's jokes? I fell for the Lord of the Rings kart racer hard, even though I knew not to trust that issue. My friends harassed me for months. This is the first time somebody said that they fell for the Lord of the Rings kart racer.
Yeah.
I'm pleased about that, because that was like the last April Fool's joke that I was responsible for. EGM.
So did that by any chance grow out of the Merlin racing game on the new one?
No.
Okay. Just curious.
No, it was just at that time, like every license was becoming a kart racer.
Kart racer, yeah.
Yeah.
So
we
we figured
happening, and yeah.
Lord of the Rings kart is a plausible thing.
Right.
And then I think I had it where I had taken a bunch of screenshots from other games, and I was going to try to get Mike Vallis to like construct a screenshot, but what he did instead is he made an original screenshot, not pieced together with other from other screens or anything, and it's Gandalf in a cart racing, and the story was that it was the first PSP game that was announced.
God.
I think
also making it kind of plausible.
One of the best details about that one that I really enjoyed was on the back of the cart. It had all his fireworks.
Yes.
Like from like he had in his cart in the movie. And that was just like kind of his weapons stash, which I thought was very pretty little detail.
Yeah, that was Mike Vallis did that screen, and it's fantastic. Just
well, he did
absolutely love it.
He did the kind of the fake screens for most, if not all, of the April Fool's pranks, right?
I think that's right. Yeah.
like even going back to
Including maybe
the-
even Sheng Long.
yeah, exactly.
So
Wow, that was like one of the first ones, wasn't it?
yeah,
Oh
it was.
man,
That was the first one.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We did in Game Now. We had the Xbox version of Metal Gear Solid 2,
Oh,
which was a really good one. We did it was like a full page preview
yeah.
of this game is finally getting ported to the Xbox. And if I remember correctly, it was like a separate mode where you could play as Snake through the whole game.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah, that was the big kicker.
That was the hook.
People wanted that to be true.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, Valis, we made a lot of screenshots. And I say we, but it was obviously Valis doing all the actual work of like new areas where we took pictures around our office of just like the cubicles and like the loading dock at the building. And Valis ran him through some graphical filters to kind of make them not look like office buildings. And these were like, oh, this is the new area where you can play as Snake. And I think there were a couple boss battles where like he shifted the perspective. So it's like now you're from Snake's point of view during this fight and stuff like that. It was really great. And I remember one of the screenshots was of the fight against Revolver Ocelot. And it was like a composite picture. He had taken a picture of his Ocelot action figure. I think it was like an old like McFarlane Toys action figure that he had just kind of posed and took a picture of it and worked that into a screenshot, and it ended up looking pretty good. Enough that it fooled some people, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff was fun to do. I always enjoyed working on the April issues of the magazine and coming up with fun things. I did the Sonic and Tails in Smash Brothers Melee thing that people still remember nowadays. And that one, I'm especially proud that like Nintendo had to put in their pre-recorded message that it's not real on their like hint line because so many people were calling asking about it.
You made some poor Nintendo employees' lives very difficult.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I absolutely love that. But it was, the Simon Belmont trick and the Shenlong thing, and those being tricks, that as a reader I loved. I thought those were so great that I wanted to try to approach that same level of I'm really gonna screw with people's heads on this one.
Yeah.
The Sonic and Tails and Smash thing, I thought I had gotten like the requirements for that trick.
That was my favorite thing
just
about
out
this.
of reach.
Yeah.
Again, like you were talking about the Simon Belmont thing being like you didn't have quite enough time. I thought that the Cruel Melee requirement in the trick that I did for Sonic and Tails would be like just enough where you wouldn't be able to do it, or it would take a long ass time for somebody to do it.
And this will age us, but I remember the videotapes starting to show up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was a bit unfair because people they were able to do it and get past that, in fact. And so we said, hey, if you videotape yourself doing Cruel Melee and are able to get more KOs or whatever, we're going to do a giveaway and you can win Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Adventure 2 for GameCube.
Which I think was a great way to handle it. I was super happy about the way that whole thing went. First of all, I mean, I'm not a Smash player. So when people started saying they actually did it, I was like, oh. And then I loved watching the videotapes because I just didn't have a clue how or why or like how you could do it. And it was just so impressive to see. But yeah, I love that we we sort of did a mea culpa on that one, and
Yeah, and it was really fun to sit there and watch the videotapes.
yeah,
People playing.
yeah, it was very cool.
That was fun, but those were the days.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we're done. Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty, and then as our show for this week, thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, please direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters or @P1 Podcast @mastodon.social, where we also have an account. You can also find us on our website, player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find show notes and links to all the things we talked about, and you'll find Generation 16 stuff from Mr. Greg Seward, including blog entries and episodes of Generation 16. The most recent of which is a rundown of the best games. It's a ranking of the games on the Sega Genesis Mini 2.
Yes.
So check that out. Let's see. Oh, also in our show notes, you can find, links to all the things that we talked about, but also a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Stitcher Radio or on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast, or you can watch us live most weeks on the YouTubes, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Twitch.televisions, all over the darned place. Just follow our Twitter account, which is @P1 Podcast, or I guess our Mastodon account.
Yep.
To find out when we're doing our next live show. Typically, it is Sunday nights at 5:30 Pacific time. So join us, won't you? Yep. I'll tell you what, if you like what you've heard, and how could you, head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. Just cause. Just cause.
We got to buy PSVR 2s.
Boy, do we.
That's going to be $1,000 Canadian.
Is it really?
Oh. After tax is going to be pushing that, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I am sorry to hear that. Eesh. It's like half that here. What is going on up there?
Healthcare.
Oh. We'll try not to get sick
down here.
It'll be, I should say, I was looking at the bundle. It'll be about, after tax for me, it's going to be about 870.
Goodness gracious. Well, all right. I'll tell you what, though, your Patreon funds do help support our show. It keeps us streaming and all that stuff. So if you want to, go for it, Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
cheap,
you gain access to a special weekly bonus episode that we record right after this, where we play games crack-wise, having fun doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. CJ, do we have a game this week?
We sure do, Phil.
Oh, okay.
Thank goodness.
It is an EGM review game. We're gonna go back to the January 1998 issue and do some more games out of that.
Oh, okay.
So there were more games because it was a holiday time issue. And there are some really fun ones in this one.
Okay.
PlayStation focused.
Well, all right then.
Yeah. Maybe something about Werewolf on the NES too.
I'll make a note. Yeah, if you are not a Patreon supporter,
you missed out.
Last week's bonus episode was a humdinger.
It sure was.
It was a right doozy, let me tell you. So I don't know if the EGM review quiz is gonna hold up, but
probably not. No,
I'm sure we'll still have fun.
Oh, that's a definite. That's
for somebody. EGM reviews, always a treat.
Yeah.
So join us for that, won't you? And if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to patreon.com/Greg Seward. Greg Seward. To help support Greg's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Phil. And if you are a patron of the $860 variety,
oh,
Whoa,
cheap.
that's not cheap.
Also,
You could buy me a
cheap.
PlayStation VR too. No, if you're a patron of the $5 variety.
Also cheap.
Thank you. You get access to the Weekly Commute, which is a weekly vlog series that I do, letting my patrons know what I'm working on, current status of each new episode of Generation 16. Also things like the Let's Plays, the racing videos, and anything else that's on my mind. I've been thinking lately about doing some dramatic readings of old Gaming Age reviews where I got my start.
Oh wow.
I found them all. I found the archive on archive.org. So
Oh my.
boy, they're bad. Let me tell you. I don't know why anyone hired John Riccardi. I don't know what you were thinking, but I appreciate you.
Don't go back and read your old writing. That is something I learned a while ago. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that goes back into supporting my content creation in general, the show in particular, paying for things like Adobe licenses and translators for Japanese articles that I need for research and stuff like that. So the money all goes back into the show. So please consider supporting.
Absolutely. Is that it?
That's
I think
it.
that's it.
CJ.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Phil.
Gregory.
Yo.
Oh, thank you as well.
Thank you, Philip.
And of course, a big old thank you to you. Yes, you. Our wonderful, wonderful listeners, every single one of you. Remember, as always, take care of yourself, your family, your loved ones, your friends. Do what you got to do to be safe. Do what you got to do to be happy. Do what you got to do to make everyone else happy. Dang it.
There you go.
And, oh, it's my
All good
kid. Hi,
advice.
buddy. How's your mouth? My kid lost he lost 2 teeth today.
Whoa.
Were they
He was,
his?
he was upstairs on his computer. He comes rushing down and he's like, guys. And he's blood gushing out of his mouth. I'm just like, oh my goodness.
Okay.
What are you getting into up there? Huh?
Is he one of those kids that, like, if he's got a wiggly tooth, like he just sort of get it out of there as fast as possible?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he was just
My
like,
son
I was
does
just
that.
messing around with my tooth and it just popped out. And we're like, okay. So he's shoving paper towels up in the hole. And then he's like, yeah, then once we get the bleeding done with that, he's like, yeah, the one like right above it is also kind of wiggly. And he's like, yeah, see? And he's like, oh, nice. I think I can get it out here. And then he spends like the next 3 minutes just like yanking it around. And then they finally like get another geyser of blood.
My son's like that, where he'll announce, "Oh, I have a wiggly tooth," and then he'll walk out of the bathroom 5 minutes later, holding it in his bloody hand. And then my youngest is the opposite, where she'll have a wiggly tooth for like a year.
Oh, geez.
She'll be afraid to touch it.
Yeah. But yeah, now he has one of the molars on the top and bottom. Oh, there you are. He's showing us. The camera's right there, buddy. There you go. There's the hole.
See it,
For the people watching it. There you go. There you go. There it is. So now he's been walking around with his pinky shoved into the gap in his teeth. Yeah, well, yeah,
Nice.
ow, yeah, of course. That's what you get. There you go. Oh, are you
All
leaving?
right. Let's
then.
end this thing so we can.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Oh, you're. Are you going? Go.
We're at the end of the
Go up,
show.
go up to your room. We're finishing
Say
up.
goodbye, everybody, and we're gone. You've done it.
Oh my goodness. So there's what's going on there. Yeah, take care of everyone.
Yes.
We hope to see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.